Hello, everybody. It's Kyle here. Today, I wanted to talk about embracing the little adventures in your day to day life and how this can help a person to have a little bit more of a exciting life and a little bit more of a life where they're doing interesting things, and to help a person not get too depressed or anything like that, and to kind of give a little bit of a spark to the day and a little bit of spice to the day. So, a lot of people, when they go through their everyday routine, they're often kind of stuck on autopilot. You go to the grocery store and you're kind of stuck on autopilot. You kind of keep to your route and everything like that. And going to work and at work. And a lot of these things, from moment to moment, you kind of get stuck doing the same thing you've done. But it's seeing novelty in your environment that really gets people in the moment and feeling like they're really there, really doing something new and exciting. On the other hand, this novelty, as I've explained in other videos, is also related to fear, and there's a kind of ingrained fear into excitement and new things. So, it's a little bit of a scary thing to go outside of your comfort zone, but it also gives a little bit of spark to your day so that you don't feel like you're just living on autopilot. So, what do I mean when I'm talking about little adventures throughout the day? So this can be a lot of things. So, one example I would like to use is going to the grocery store. So, normally, let's say you buy rice and chicken and lettuce and carrots and bread and things like this. So a lot of the time, you'll just kind of book it towards these places. Go pick up your items, go to the cashier, say, "Hi, how are you?" "Okay, thank you, bye," and leave. Not very adventuresome. And you can wonder, well, like, how much adventure can I possibly have in a grocery store? But, I think something that can kind of make it a little bit more exciting is, go and look at a kind of candy you've never eaten before. Just like, I know at this one store near me, they have, like, imported, like, Filipino and Indian food and things like this, where it's kind of interesting, if I've never seen it before, to just, like, pick it up and look at it and be like, "Oh, that's interesting. New. Okay, cool." So that kind of thing can get you, can give a little bit of excitement, a little bit of newness to your day, which it's the newness and the excitement which makes life worth living. Otherwise, it all seems kind of, lame and boring, really. So, you're at the grocery store. Go take a look at something you've never bought before. Go take a look at some, a weird food item that you've never eaten before. Just, take a look at it, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of going outside your comfort zone. But that's just one example of, like, a little adventure. What is something else? Well, say you always go back to the same clothing store or whatever. Maybe go check out a different one. Go check out a new clothing store that you've never been to. If you always go get a haircut at the same place, maybe go to the competitor next time and have them give you a haircut, And I know it's not easy to push beyond what you normally do. In fact, it can be quite difficult, but there are benefits to doing it, and you can see some new stuff and learn some new things, and kind of get some excitement out of that. A lot of people just do stick to what they're comfortable with. They stick to the same, same grocery store, same haircut place, same fast food joint. Like, for me, they've opened up, like, 5 different chicken chains. They've got KFC, Mary Brown's, Popeyes, Church's, Jollibee. And I've tried all of them, because why not? Because why not just give them a try and, see what's different about them, see what tastes different, like, something new rather than, I'm going to do the same thing, I'm going to eat at the same place. Because that's where we get into this weird separation between comfort and novelty, where comfort seems like something you want. It seems like you want to be comfortable, like you want to be relaxed and just be able to kind of let go and stuff like that. But at the same time, when you do that, life just kind of flashes by you. And also you find that I think being too comfortable and fear often go hand in hand, because when you get too comfortable, you're not embracing, the things that are in the outside world that are actually really scary. So, being able to embrace novelty, embrace new stuff, is something that can really make you feel like you have more of a grasp on life and a little bit more control over what's happening. So embracing novelty in the little things, trying different food at a grocery store, try a different, nationality of restaurant, have you tried African food? Have you tried Indian food? Have you tried Filipino? Have you tried, Irish stew and, Scottish and, Ukrainian, all this stuff? Have you really, gone outside of your comfort zone and tried all these different things? Give them a shot, see what they're like. And, it could be quite interesting to experience these new things. I think that little bits of novelty often lead to big kinds of novelty. So, I started doing this kind of, eating new food items and stuff like that, which is a pretty tame form of novelty seeking, but eventually that led me to looking for a new job, and now I'm starting a new job which is quite outside the realm of what I've done before. So for me, the little bits of trying to find new things in the world have kind of made me more comfortable in the world anyway, and a little bit more capable of seeking out new things and trying to learn about new things and experience new things. So I would really recommend to anybody to seek those little bits of novelty. Go to a mall and stuff like that. Go to and check out all the different stores. Really look around. Almost like you're a tourist. When a person's a tourist and they're going around a city or whatever, they're looking around, they're looking at all the streets and things. You're naturally really open to the environment, and everything seems very vivid and seems very interesting to you, and it's all very apparent to you. So when you're a tourist, it's like you're very open to the world around you, and you're open to experiencing new things and trying new things. And also, people are generally happier when they're a tourist. They're generally a bit less, closed off and angry, compared especially to going to your 9-to-5 job, where a lot of people get very frustrated and angry. But if you can spend your time in your 9-to-5 job kind of feeling like a tourist, where you are experiencing new things and really taking a look around you and taking a look at the other people and talking to people and stuff like this, you can really start to experience a little bit more of life and kind of see things and be more active in the world and be more active with other people and stuff like that. So it's really opens you up to the world, experiencing new things. And I think that experiencing new things also goes hand in hand with being more comfortable with the world in general. Every time you experience something new, you can never go back to how you were before, where that was a mystery and that was scary. Before you go to a new restaurant, it can be daunting because you've never been there. But once you've been there before, now it's suddenly not so scary because, you know what it looks like, you know what the outside is like, you know what the inside's like. You might know some of the people there and stuff like that. So it's really interacting with the people around you, and you know, going to new places that can make you feel more comfortable and secure in the world. Like, you know, waking up in the morning, you don't think you're gonna experience like a tremendous surprise or whatever. Like, you're gonna get up and you're gonna, you know, feel a bit more like, wow, like what can I experience today? Like, what's new today? You know, what have I never seen before? And this anticipation and curiosity can really push you forward past a lot of the negative, scary stuff that goes on around you. So when you're a little bit more curious and open to the world, you know, all the little things, you know, the little rejections and the little, like, you know, times people are angry at you or awkward moments or whatever, like, it all kind of seems to fade into the background a little bit, because you can, you know, look for the next interesting thing and kind of push past all that stuff, and you know, kind of see some new stuff, and you know, maybe that'll be interesting for you, because novel things are by definition interesting, you know, because they're new. Like, the new stuff is always going to be interesting to people. Like, people have an innate curiosity to things that they don't understand and new things. Now, I've thought of this before, where you have kind of two modes towards novel, new things. So either one of two things can happen. So if you're actively seeking out new experiences, then when you encounter a new experience, you know, you'll be kind of happy, because you're like, well, I wanted a new experience. I wanted to see something new. I wanted to interact in a new way with people. So that's one way. But then the second way is when you are closed off to new experiences. Then when something new enters your field of vision, something new interacts with you, you're going to be scared and you're going to push it away, because you're like, no, I didn't want that. You know, I don't want to see this new thing. You know, and that can kind of be like, you know, say you're at work and there's like a work event where they're like, okay, we're going to go to this Turkish restaurant. Now, if you're open to new experiences, then you'll be like, hell yeah, like, I want to go to a Turkish restaurant. Yeah, sure, let's do this. I want to see the Turkish food. I want to try some Turkish food. Yeah, for sure. And that's one attitude. But the second one, if you don't want to go, then that's going to be terrible for you. It's going to be very scary. You know, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm being dragged to this thing. I'm getting dragged to this place I don't want to be, you know, with these people maybe I don't want to be with. And it's going to be very scary to go to this new place, this new experience, and you're going to feel like dragged along. So I think in a sense it's also kind of like embrace your fate a little bit, because you're naturally going to get pulled into new experiences, and you can try and get away from it and try to just live a very closed off life, and you can try. Like, good luck with that. Like, good luck with living a very closed off life. Honestly, I gotta say, like, if you're not waking up every day looking at the things around you and like actively embracing the new experiences, then life is going to be pretty difficult, because you're just going to get dragged along by it. And I really do believe this. I really do believe that if you're going through your day closed off to the world around you, you're going to experience new things, and you're going to constantly react with like this negativity, this anger or whatever, because you know, you don't want to interact with this new experience, right? So, you know, but I think that seeking out little bits of novelty can be really, really helpful. Can be really helpful to feeling more comfortable in the world. And I'll probably make another video on this. But you know, there's places like, you know, you drive and you see like all these different stores and stuff, you know, like Lowe's, Home Depot, you know, here in Canada, Canadian Tire, you know, all these like fast food places, Five Guys, Harvey's, A&W, Arby's, whatever. You see all these places. It's like, imagine never setting foot in any of these places. They're gonna seem a little daunting, you know, like, but if you can get inside of them and like look around and see what's going on, see how things work, then it kind of takes the mystery away from them. And when you take the mystery away from them, they become easier to deal with. And at the same time, interacting with the new thing is going to change it from mystery into understood. But that process of seeing something new and understanding it is that sense of aliveness in the world, where you're like, you're really seeing something. You're kind of transforming the mystery into something known, the unknown into the known, and that transformation is where there's kind of energy and excitement. So, and that energy and excitement is what gives life value. Without energy and excitement, a person lives a very lethargic, closed off, kind of sad life. So you do need some sense of pushing onwards in order to feel more at home in the world and more like alive. So, I recommend embracing all that stuff and embracing the new and everything like that. There's a lot of little ways to do that, and it's why I recommend, figuring out what you don't know in the world, like figuring out what topics are, really unknown to you. And like for me, for a lot of my life, that was sports. Like sports was a big mysterious thing, like hockey, football, basketball, golf, all of that was just, it was kind of scary and daunting because I never really experienced it. And I'll be honest, like I don't know a lot about sports now. Like I've investigated a little bit, but just getting into it a little bit, it starts to become more understood, and it starts to become more like, oh, okay, this is cool. I like this, rather than something that's like closed off and like, someplace you're not supposed to go. Like, I think human beings in general like to map territory in order to understand something and in order to feel safe there. So just like an animal maps their territory, wanders around in order to understand something, humans do that too. Humans wander around, but we also wander around intellectually and artistically and things like that. So I think some people are more fearless than others, but I think in general, it feels good to embrace new stuff, versus doing the same thing every day just makes you feel closed off and unhappy and stuff like that. So, I would definitely recommend, chasing after novelty to an extent. It's probably like, a dopamine reward center that's, it's a feedback loop that keeps you going and stuff like that. But yeah, you don't have to do something extreme. You don't have to go to like, the African Serengeti, or like, trek through the Amazon by yourself, or like climb Mount Everest, or any of that stuff. Like, you don't have to do these extreme things, although that's another way of experiencing novelty for sure, is like actually visiting, foreign places, traveling. And it's also why I think people look forward to traveling so much, is because people really hate being stuck in their everyday boring lives. They like getting out. They like to be free. People like freedom, believe it or not. They don't like to be restricted in what they can do and what they can see and stuff like that. And but you don't have to like go to the Himalayas. You don't have to, go through the Amazon. You don't have to, go to China or Japan or India or Iraq or Algeria or something. You don't have to do any of that. Although yeah, if you want to, go for it. But you can, talk to a stranger. That's novelty. That's new. You can, go to a bar that you've never been to. Go see some music you've never seen. You can, talk to an individual you've never talked to, or, just like start up a conversation with a coworker. Talk about something, build a connection with somebody. Take on more responsibility at work. listen to an album you've never listened to, watch a movie you've never watched. There's so much out there. It can be daunting, for sure. You know, people get paralyzed by the amount of Netflix shows there are out there. But, you know, it makes life a little bit more interesting to see new stuff. You know, I don't want to spend my life just doing the same thing I've done over and over and over again. You know, I've done that before. I've lived that kind of life, and it's not a very worthwhile one, I've found. You know, it makes life generally more exciting to do new stuff, you know, rather than comfortable old stuff, you know. And yeah, comfort is relaxing, but we all have to sleep, you know. You get your comfort when you're asleep, but while you're awake, why not try new things, do new things? Like, you know, you're up anyway, just embrace it. Just embrace the day. Embrace the newness, embrace the mystery, the creativity, the excitement, you know. Embrace it. Embrace life. And yes, that might be a cliche, and yes, that might be difficult, and probably pretty scary to a lot of people, but, you know, what's the alternative? It's just sleepwalking through the day, or getting dragged through the day, and not, you know, when you don't want to. But, yeah, I think it's better generally to just, you know, try and embrace new stuff. And I talked about this in an older video about social momentum, and I think novelty, you know, there's a sense of social momentum connected to novelty, where, you know, I just like look at something new, and that gives me a little bit of a dopamine hit, and so I kind of want a little bit more new. I want a little bit more creativity, a little bit more interesting stuff, and it kind of like keeps rolling, where, like, you know, the day itself becomes a very like full and energetic and interesting day, and I feel very alive, you know, and I don't feel depressed at all when I go through the day like this. You know, a day where you're cut off and closed off and unhappy, and you don't look at anybody, and you're angry and you're sad. You know, that's the kind of day where I feel really depressed and unhappy at the end of it. Like, that's the kind of day where, you know, I just don't feel like I was really there, you know. Just pretty sad, and I think a lot of people suffer from depression, and they suffer from anxiety as well, and I think everybody experiences some measure of anxiety. But anxiety is actually, you know, can point you to something good, because, like I've said, like, novel things, new things, are by definition scary. So, you know, if something's really, really new, really, really scary, then it's going to probably have a lot of anxiety. But, you know, even to some people, just checking out a food item they've never seen before can be like terrifying. But, you know, it's embracing that fear makes you feel more alive. So I'm going to keep doing it for sure, and I recommend to anybody else keep doing it as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.